Alright, so you guys wanted it, so let's talk about the WNBA. What's going on, guys? Gabe the Great back here again for another video, and you guys have been requesting that I continue to do some more videos on the WNBA. As many of you guys know, I deleted my first two videos on the WNBA because I just felt like the conversation and the comment section was just getting really toxic, and it wasn't really the point of the video. But for those you know who've been a long-time subscriber of this channel, you know that we like to have in-depth conversations about things and issues happening inside the basketball world. And what I'm going to try to do is every single Wednesday I'm going to try to bring something about the WNBA. Okay, I don't want this to become necessarily a WNBA channel. Obviously there will be a lot of girls basketball on this channel, as I am a high school girls basketball coach, and you'll be seeing that in the vlogs and stuff like that. So obviously there will be a lot of stuff on here about girls basketball, but I don't want this to become a WNBA channel necessarily. So on Wednesdays I'm going to try to dedicate some time to just doing some WNBA topics. So with that, let's get straight into it. Okay, so first and foremost, it's being reported that so far the WNBA has got off to a tremendous start in terms of ratings and attendance this year. Both are up at this point in the year. The season is about 3-4 weeks old right now, and so far ratings are actually up 200%. Okay, so ratings are up 200% right now. Within the second week, they were getting like a 0.6 rating, 0.6. Now, even though the ratings are up, they're still not doing great. Okay, so to give you an idea, yes, they're up about 200%, but that's because their rating was a 0.2. Now it's a 0.6. To give you an idea of a good rating, the regular season in the NBA can range anywhere from like a 1.9 to 2.4, and then when we get into the playoffs and the NBA finals, those games can get up into the 10s, which is really good for a TV rating. So to put this into perspective, if a TV show like a drama, a comedy, or some type of sitcom is getting anything below a 1, it's pretty much going to get canceled. But I don't think the WNBA will be canceled, but they are doing good, and I want to talk about some of the reasons why I think the WNBA is doing good. Now, one of the reasons that I think the WNBA is doing good is because I talked about in previous videos about what the WNBA needs to do to be a better league, and I think they're doing those things. Number one, their social media is way better this year. The league has a much better social media presence, I think, on all platforms. They're more accessible and everything like that. And so I think that's really helping their cause out a lot. They've had a big kind of rebranding this year that they've done. They got a new logo. They got Nike sponsorships. Nike's now doing their jerseys. I think their jerseys can be found in some stores now. A lot of backing is going into the WNBA. And one other thing that I talked about in previous videos is how you need more women reporting on the WNBA. And that has actually happened. I'm seeing a lot of female journalists doing reports on the WNBA, talking about the WNBA, the games and the players and things like that. So that is a really big thing. I think obviously they're getting a lot of help from NBA players. NBA players showing their support of the WNBA. I think the NBA players supporting and basically propping up the WNBA is actually what's going to be needed for the WNBA to be a relevant professional league. I mean, if you look at any time throughout history, anytime there's been an advancement in women's rights issues, a lot of it had to do, not all of it, right? I'm not trying to steal any shine from women, but there is an aspect of it of men really getting behind what women are trying to do. And so I think with anything, if a women's basketball professional league is going to be taken seriously, the men are going to have to get behind it. Now, with that being said, like, I don't want to cap for the league. It is a lesser product, okay? I am a WNBA League Pass owner. It was only $17. And so, hey, it's worth the investment. But to be honest, it's a different kind of game. It's a different kind of game. I do not think the casual basketball fan will ever be into the WNBA. Not at this point. in human and female development in terms of athletics. I don't think a casual basketball fan, I'm talking about people who are not in the gym every single day, people who didn't play high level basketball. I'm talking about casual fans, which make up a big part of the market. We're talking about people who just work a job, and after they get home, they want to have a drink and maybe watch a game, but they don't really follow everything, you know. They follow what they hear, but they're not really die-hard passionate fans. I don't think the WNBA will ever be appealing to those kind of fans, those casual fans. And so for a certain type of us, you can find some type of entertainment and some type of value in watching the WNBA, although most people I still think are going to find it boring. Now, with that being said, one of the NBA players did had a interesting tweet, something that I have stated in the past about the WNBA. And it was Isaiah Thomas, right now plays for the Denver Nuggets. He says, I watch the WNBA because I love hoop and they dope, but what if they lower the hoops to 9.5 feet? It would go down even more. And this is something I've talked about before that a lot of people think are offensive to talk about when it comes to women's sports. It's to lower the rim an extra 5 or 6 inches. You don't need to go all the way down to 8. I think that's getting kind of ridiculous. And I don't even think you need to go down to 9, but I think lowering to 9.5 would actually be more entertaining, not only because the potential for more dunks, but if you're watching a WNBA game, you are watching average height people shoot on rims that we're used to watching giants shoot on. You know, like the average NBA player is like 6 feet. And so if they just jump off the ground, most of them are touching the rim or dunking it, okay? And a lot of times what happens is that in the WNBA, you're going to get a lot more missed shots. You're going to get a lot more air balls. And aesthetically, it's just not as appealing as when you're watching it on TV. But I do think if you lower the rim down to 9.5, I think it's something to explore. I don't actually think that they'll do it, but I think it's worth noting. So a lot of good things are happening for the WNBA right now. Their new commissioner is going to take over here in July. A lot of people have been asking me my opinion on her, and I don't really have an opinion on her because she hasn't done anything yet. So I don't know if she's going to be good, bad, or indifferent for the league. We'll see. But I will say this, that the 2019 season is off to a really good start for the WNBA. I expect at the end of this season, both ratings and attendance will be up in the WNBA. I still don't know if it will be profitable, but we'll see. But I do think that the future is looking good for the WNBA. Last thing I want to talk about is an article that came out in the New York Times today, and it was talking about how androgyny is now fashionable in the WNBA. It's an interesting read. You should go check it out. But it was talking about how androgyny is becoming like a fashion statement. And I've talked about this before, like fashion should be a big deal in the WNBA. Right? Like, it's absurd to me that fashion is more popular in the men's league than the women's league, but here we are. And this is one of the things where I think social media has helped the WNBA this year. They're taking pictures and photos of players, of the WNBA players walking into the buildings, what they're wearing and things like that. I think that stuff is actually, you know, good for the league. Now, the androgyny part, obviously it's not my cup of tea, androgyny is this idea of, gender neutral or more masculine kind of dress for a female, and it's not necessarily my style, but hey, and a lot of it has to do, the one thing I will say, that the reason why I don't like to make a lot of WNBA topics, because you got to understand, like, the WNBA has a very particular fan base. The WNBA fan base is a lot different than the NBA fan base. If I had to guess from a political realm, I would think that the NBA fan base is way more conservative, while the WNBA fan base is way more liberal. And something that I see a lot of times when it comes to WNBA and WNBA topics is they go outside of basketball. Like, we're never only talking about women playing basketball. We're always talking about, pride issues, homophobia or sexism or wage gap and all this stuff. Like, we're never just talking about female athletes. We're always talking about all this other political stuff that kind of goes along with it, which for me, it makes it really hard to just enjoy the game. You know, like I just want to watch the best athletes play the sport. The best female athletes play basketball, but you know, you always get bombarded with this political stuff. So, but it was an interesting topic. I do believe that it is good that we're seeing more exposure of WNBA players. So like I said, I think this is going to be a positive year for the WNBA. I thought last year was a terrible year for the WNBA. I thought a lot of people were capping last year, but I actually think this year is going to be a pretty decent year for the WNBA, which is surprising because Maya Moore is not playing this year. Skylar Diggins isn't playing this year. Diana Taurasi has yet to play a game. I think Candace Parker comes back this week. So overall, the WNBA has started off to a really, really good start. Hey, what do you guys think about the WNBA? Do you still think it's trash? Do you think it's heading in the good direction? What do you think are some other changes that need to happen in the WNBA for this to become a profitable league? Leave your comment down in the comment section down below. Follow me on Twitter. I'll be over there talking to myself. And I'll see you next time. Peace.